The Destruction Mission, lesson number 250-061-6389-Foxtrot. Alright, let me think about how I can speed this along. I know as I do more of these tapes, they're going by better and better. I'm a little bit more organized. This is a quick intro for anybody that has never seen one of these little videos. I bought a ton, not a ton, but about 300 pounds of basically waste cassette tapes that were made in the late 1970s for U.S. Army training purposes. They're part of a system where you plug in a cassette, and this is basically, from what I'm understanding and learning more, a cassette in some sort of video into a machine, and it would play both simultaneously, and you get the information that way. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the video section, but I do have the audio, which is better than nothing. So you'll have to use your imagination and, you know, your Google search and things like that, or your start page search for people that are a little more cautious, and get in on that. And hey, you know, it's better than this stuff going in the dump. I'm a big advocate of finding out institutional information, the information that's passed generation to generation, and sometimes it gets forgotten and has to be relearned at a very high expense, or sometimes it's lost forever. So this is part of my Military Industrial Museum collection here. We're going to learn about destruction. Never heard this tape before, and who knows what it's about. But let's plug it in and get going. Alright. Turn this baby on. Turn on the audio. Now I'm going to turn this one down a little bit. My last tape about blew my ears out, and it didn't have any better audio fidelity on this YouTube video system, so we'll turn this one a little bit down quieter, see how that works out. Popping the tape correctly here. Oh yeah, first try. Hey, if you've been a fan and watching me try to faddle around with this stuff, it's been a learning process. A lot of this stuff is vintage. I picked it up secondhand, things like that, because you know, I'm on a budget. This is a very stretch a dollar type of deal here. Okay, so let's press play and find out what the destruction mission is about.
So you want to learn how to conduct a destruction mission. Are you really ready for this lesson? We are going to fire a check round in a moment, but first, secure this equipment if you do not have it. The destruction mission and the registration mission have something in common. Both are precision fire. The meat of this lesson begins where the impact phase of the registration ends. Shown are the 4 usable rounds fired in a precision registration, along with the OT factor. Write the refinement data that you would send to the FDC for these rounds. The answer is left 10, drop 20. If we agree, great. But if you blew it, you should turn in this lesson and check out these lessons dealing with the precision registration. Make your choice. Upon completion of this lesson, you should be able to select the appropriate shell or shell fuse to destroy a particular target. and you should be able to state or write the transmissions that you would send to the FDC for the rounds fired in a destruction mission. The destruction mission is fired against point targets that are hard in nature, such as the stalled tank, or this dug-in gun position, or this well-prepared observation post, or this earthen log bunker, or this concrete bunker. The artillery has, on occasion, been called on to knock out a bridge. And what characterizes a target in a destruction mission? Think about it. It is a point target, hard in nature. And what cannon artillery do you have available? The 105, though a little small in caliber for well-prepared fortified positions, could be used if a larger caliber weapon is not available. The 105, however, is the only weapon for which the tank-busting shells HEP and HEAT are available. HEP and HEAT are normally fired in direct fire. The 155 in any of its configurations does a fine job on fortified positions. Though it will not penetrate tank armor, direct hits will immobilize the crew. The 8-inch howitzer in any of its configurations is an excellent, actually the best, weapon to destroy fortified positions. Like the 155, it does not have a shell to penetrate armor, but boy oh boy, what it does to the crew. Can you list the caliber of cannon artillery available for the destruction mission? Do so on your paper. Right you are. The 105, the 155, and the 8-inch howitzers. When is destruction by field artillery recommended? A good question, and we'll give a couple of good answers. If, for example, the target is hampering the operations of the friendly forces and a neutralization mission cannot adequately suppress the threat, destroy it. Secondly, the target is normally beyond the range of the weapons of friendly forces. Generally speaking, the frontline friendlies can handle targets up to ranges of about 1,500 meters, and from there on out is artillery hunting ground. And with what shell-fuse combination do you fire the destruction mission? Let's talk about it. Up until that time that you are ready to penetrate and destroy the target, you will be observing the same shell-fuse combination fired in the impact phase of the precision registration. Do you have the answer? Speak up. Did you say shell HE fuse quick? Right you are. Shell HE, high explosive, fused for quick action, bursting on impact, is fired until ready to actually penetrate and destroy the target. Let us now meet the destruction family of shells.
I'm HEP, high explosive plastic. Call me HEP. I am equipped with a base detonating fuse, a plastic case, and a mean disposition. I can crack the shell of the heaviest armored vehicle.
I'm HEAT, high explosive anti-tank. Just call me HEAT. I'm equipped with a point detonating fuse and a shaped charge, and I can penetrate the thickest of armor. Tanks are my dish. If you want either of us, give a call.
HEP in effect.
Or HEAT in effect. We come fused and ready to go.
Hi, I'm your old standby Shell HE, and can be fused for quick action as shown, or I can be fused for delay action as shown. With a fuse position for delay action, I can open the door to earthen log fortifications and light masonry construction, such as a brick wall. If it's penetration you want on these kinds of targets, just call for delay in effect. Same old shell, high explosive, but sporting a different fuse. This is my concrete piercing fuse. With one or more hits, I can penetrate great thicknesses of concrete. If you need me, give a call, concrete piercing in effect.
Number your paper as shown. You will see 3 different targets. As each is shown, write the name of the shell or shell fuse combination that would penetrate and destroy the target. A large caliber weapon was observed firing from this dug-in position. Write the name of the shell fuse combination that will penetrate and destroy this target. You should have written shell HE fuse delay. You spot this disabled armored vehicle, which continues to fire on the friendly troops. Write the name of at least one shell designed to destroy this type of target. You should have written either HEAT, high explosive anti-tank, or HEP, high explosive plastic. Automatic weapons have been firing from this bunker. Write the name of the shell fuse combination that will penetrate and destroy this target. You did write shell HE fuse concrete piercing, didn't you? If you missed one or more of the exercises, you have missed the boat, and we suggest that you do a retake. Otherwise, press the proceed. Recall that we stated earlier that the meat of this lesson begins where the impact phase of the registration ends. We will first do a little updating, then fill this gap. The call for fire follows the area fire procedures. Listen as this target is located by the grid method.
Hotel 4, Oscar 57. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 52. Adjust fire. Over.
Hotel 4, Oscar 52. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 57. Adjust fire. Out.
Grid 4, Tree 5, Tree 07. Over.
Grid 4, Tree 5, Tree 07. Out.
Concrete bunker, destruction. CP in effect. Over.
Concrete bunker, destruction. CP in effect. Out.
This is Oscar 52. Direction 4210. Over.
Direction 4210. Out.
Now shift from a known point.
Hotel 4, Oscar 57. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 52. Adjust fire. Shift 7, Tree 2. Over.
Hotel 4, Oscar 52. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 57. Adjust fire. Shift 7, Tree 2. Out.
Direction 2410. Right 100. Add 400. Over.
Direction 2410. Right 100. Add 400. Out.
Earth and log bunker. Destruction. Delay in effect. Over.
Earth and log bunker. Destruction. Delay in effect. Out.
The polar plot method.
Hotel 4, Oscar 57. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 52. Adjust fire. Polar. Over.
Hotel 4, Oscar 52. This is Hotel 4, Oscar 57. Adjust fire. Polar. Out.
Direction 1840. Distance 2400. Over.
Direction 1840. Distance 2400. Out.
Earth log fortification. Destruction. Delay in effect. Over.
Earth and log fortification. Destruction. Delay in effect. Out.
Did you notice that in each example, the observer specified destruction and followed with his choice of fuse? For a destruction mission, you transmit destruction and follow with a shell or shell fuse to be fired in effect if other than HE quick. Assume for a moment that you are to destroy this target. Write the information to complete this call for fire. In other words, fill in the blanks.
Destruction. Concrete piercing in effect. Over.
Do we agree? Both the registration and destruction mission are fired by a single piece. Here's a change. Normally, the destruction mission is fired by a piece other than the base piece, because the weapon may be tied up for some time. No change here. Fire for effect, though never announced, begins when one of three events occurs. Split the 200-meter bracket, spot a range correct, or obtain a target hit. In the destruction mission, as in the registration, you are encouraged to maintain a record of the rounds as they are fired. We recommend a diagram similar to this one. Rounds 3 and 4 establish the 100-meter bracket, and round 5 the 50-meter bracket. Round 5 is over 5 right, so we commanded 2 rounds, drop 2 5, and so on. No change here. Recall that you must obtain spottings of 2 overs and 2 shorts fired with data 2-5 meters apart, or spottings of 2 overs and 2 shorts with the same firing data. This is accomplished when you get successive target hits or range-correct spottings, or a combination of the two. Remember, a target hit or range-correct spotting is treated as an over and a short. 1 round, 2 spottings. Recall that when the last round of the impact phase of the registration was fired, you then determined refinement data to the nearest 10 meters for deviation and range. No change here. In a registration, you report the refinement data to the FDC so that they can determine adjusted data, right? Here's a change, a real biggie. In a destruction mission, you fire the refinement data. That's right, you fire the refinement data. Additionally, you tell the FDC the shell fuse or fuse to fire if other than HE quick. Listen to a typical transmission. Delay left 10, add 20, over. The method of fire is 1 round, so fire a round with the appropriate fuse and refinement data. Have you got it? Let's look at some typical rounds. Shown are the 4 usable rounds fired on a log bunker along with the OT factor. Write the transmission that you would send following round 7. Listen to ours. Delay, right 20, drop 20, over. We specified fuse delay and refined deviation and range. The total deviation, 20 mils left, divided by the number of rounds fired, 4, equals 5, the average deviation. 5 multiplied by 4, the OT factor, equals 20, the correction. Because the last round fired was at a greater distance from the target than those at the opposite end of the bracket, we drop 20 meters toward the target. Shown are the 4 usable rounds fired on a concrete bunker along with the OT factor. Listen carefully. The overs and shorts are equidistant from the target. Write your transmission. Here's ours. CP add 10, over. Specify fuse CP or concrete piercing. The deviation angles left and right cancel out, therefore, no correction. When, however, the overs and shorts are equidistant from the target, we correct the range by 10 meters toward the target from the last round fired. During the adjustment on an earthen log bunker, you obtained a target hit followed by a range correct 10 right. The rounds in OT factor are shown. Write your transmission. Listen to ours. Delay left 10, over. We specified the shell fuse first. then the refinement correction. We divided the single deviation, 10 mils, by 2, the number of rounds fired, to determine the average deviation, 5 mils. 5 multiplied by 2, the OT factor, equals the amount of correction. The range must be okay since we have a target and range correct. Destruction of the target is accomplished by one or more hits on the target. And who's going to stop the destruction mission? Say aloud your answer. You bet, the observer. When you are satisfied with the results, you end the mission and tell the FDC what you destroyed. Listen to our transmission. End of mission. Bunker destroyed. Over. The rounds are fired singly with the appropriate shell-fuse combination until a group of 3 rounds have been fired. If the target is not destroyed, new refinement corrections are made to the center of the group of rounds and another series of 3 rounds is begun. Here, for example, you would command left 20 over as the second series of rounds is begun. When a round fired with the appropriate shell fuse and refinement data strikes the target other than dead center, treat this round as a range correct. We spot this round range correct, 30 left. Beginning with the first round fired with the appropriate shell fuse and refinement data, you must make a written note of the round number, the spottings, and your command. Here, for example, round 1 in a series of 3 is spotted, range correct, 10 left, and you command repeat over. Here's the second round, and the target is not destroyed. A note is made as shown. Round 2 hits dead center and is spotted target, so you command repeat over. The third round has left its mark. When 3 rounds have been fired and the target has not been destroyed, determine new refinement data to the center of the group of rounds and send these data to the FDC along with repeat over. These rounds are centered on target. What would you command for this group of rounds? You simply command repeat over, since there is no deviation nor range to be corrected. This is a tough target, so take a look at another round as you begin a new series of 3 rounds. Let us suppose that the center of the group of rounds is over or short of the target and did not destroy it. The group shown is short. How much range correction would you command for the next round? 10 meters. Remember, you are inside a 25 meter bracket. For the round shown, the command is add 10 over. Another condition. Suppose that the center of the group of rounds is to the right or left of the target center and did not destroy it. What would you command for the group of rounds shown? No real problem. Simply command a deviation correction to the center of the bursts. We compute the correction with the OT factor, then command left 20, repeat, over. Now, if the deviation and range are both off, you must correct both in your next command. Write your command for this group of rounds. If you are keeping the pace, you wrote 20, drop 10, repeat, over. If you do not agree, recheck your work. Sometimes trouble arises when firing a delay-in-effect mission against a reinforced earthen log fortification, such as the one shown. Rubble caused by the group of 3 rounds may build up about the point of penetration. This rubble will slow down the next rounds, causing the rounds to explode before penetration. When this occurs, call for quick action fuse. Since the method of fire is 1 round, the command quick, repeat, over, will get a round of shell HE fused quick. This may clear the area, and if not, you command repeat, over, and you'll get a second round. You may fire as many fused quick rounds as necessary by commanding repeat, over, after each round. When the rubble has been blown away by the quick action fuse, you must then call for delay action to continue the mission. And what would you now command? Right you are. Delay, repeat, over. The mission would now continue as the piece fires one round of shell HE fuse delay. Rubble may be a problem when firing hard masonry targets, such as the concrete bunker. Against a target of this nature, the projectile may be fused for delay action or non-delay action. This delay fuse is for penetration of masonry structures and is fired when you request concrete piercing in effect. The non-delay is to clear away rubble in the mission. The pair of fuses designed for the concrete piercing in effect mission are not to be confused with the single fuse used in the delay in effect mission. Shown is the situation after firing 3 rounds of concrete piercing. What command would you now send to the FDC? Write it. You should have written non-delay, repeat, over. Let's have a question-answer session. Number your paper in a column as shown. Write your answers, then press the button. Compare answers. Again, compare. If you missed more than one, perhaps a retake is in order. Otherwise, press in and move out. This lesson is rather lengthy, so why don't you take 10? We'll wait. Just press in and move out when ready. Let us walk through a destruction mission. Your target is this concrete bunker. Make a note of your OT factor. Listen now as the call for fire is completed.
Destruction, concrete piercing in effect, over.
Destruction, concrete piercing in effect, out.
Now the MTO.
Bravo, over.
Bravo, out.
You will see 11 rounds, so number your paper in a column 1 through 11. As the round or rounds appear, write, yes, write the transmission that you would send to the FDC. If a transmission is not sent for a round, leave the space blank for the round. Press the button, and the first round in the adjustment will appear. The first round in the adjustment. Write your transmission. You should have written left 40, drop 200, over. Correct the deviation and go for the bracket. The second round in the adjustment. Right. Right 20, add 100, over. Correct the deviation and split the bracket. Go, man, go. Drop 50, over. Again, split the bracket. There it is. You did ask for 2 rounds, didn't you? 2 rounds, add 25, over. Right, man, right. Yes, sir. 1 round, drop 25, over. This is the 7th round. Get after it. Here's the way we see it. Concrete piercing, left 10, over. We have the 2 overs and 2 shorts at the 2 5-meter bracket, so specify the destructive fuse CP and make corrections. The average deviation is 5 mils right, and using the OT factor 2, we correct left 10. Because the last round, 7, is closer to the target than the pair at the opposite end of the bracket, no range correction is required. The first round fired with refinement data and the CP fuse. Recall that the rounds are fired singly and that you keep a record of spottings. The transmission is simply repeat over. Round 9, the second with refinement data. The target is not destroyed as yet, so transmit repeat over. Here's the third round in the series. Right. Well, the bunker is not destroyed, so we report refinement data and continue to plunk away. For the group of 3 rounds, the average deviation is 10 mils left, so we transmit right 20, repeat over, and continue the mission. Beautiful. Hold the writing for a moment. Now write your transmission. End of mission, bunker destroyed, over. That's the way we see it, and surely you agree. Now that you have the know-how, let's see how well you can handle a destruction mission. The infantry officer points out the target.
We're getting a lot of fire from that bunker. Can you do anything about it?
Why, hell yes.
You determine the direction and estimate the distance to the target as shown. Make a pencil note of the OT factor. You now identify the target to be an earthen log fortification housing troops armed with automatic weapons. Quickly, you organize your call for fire. Shown are the elements of your call for fire organized in proper sequence. Note, however, that we left some spaces blank. Write the information to fill in the blanks. Shown are all elements of the call for fire. This is a destruction mission, therefore you must include destruction. Since the target can be destroyed with delay action fuse, you should include delay in effect. The message to the observer has been transmitted and you have made your readback. You will be looking at 13 rounds, so number your paper as shown. Opposite the round number, write the transmission that you would be sending to the FDC, if any. After writing a transmission, press the proceed, and we will give the FDC transmission. If your answer does not agree with ours, continue the mission using our readback information. Do not change answers. Press the button, and the initial adjustment round will appear. Shot, over. Round 1. Write your transmission. Right 40, drop 200, out. Shot, over. The second round, write the transmission. Add 100, out. Shot, over. Round 3. Drop 50, out. Shot, over. Round 4. Two rounds, add 25, out. Shot, over. Rounds complete, over. The 2 rounds. One round, drop 25, out. Here's the round. Delay, right 10, add 10, out. We would accept and add 20 if you consider round 7 at a greater distance from the target than the pair of overs. Shot, over. Repeat, out. Shot, over. Repeat, out. Shot, over. The third round. Hold the writing until you see the next frame. Note that a machine gun is firing. Now, write your transmission. Repeat, out. We would accept and add 10. Shot, over. Repeat, out. Shot, over. Repeat, out. Shot, over. The last of 3. Hold until you see the next frame. Write the transmission. End of mission. Bunker destroyed. Out. You might have included status of materiel and casualty report, which is okay. You must end the mission and report target destroyed. How did you score? You should have written 12 transmissions, of which 8 are critical. We will now show the rounds in groups and explain our commands. The 8 critical ones. Check your answers as we move along. Shown are rounds 1, 2, and 3. Round 1, we spot over, 20 left, and we command, right 40, drop 200, over. Correct the deviation and go for a bracket. Round 2, we spot short, line, and command, add 100, over. Split the 200-meter bracket. Round 3, we spot over, line, and command, drop 50, over. 3 transmissions, 3 points. Shown are rounds 4 through 7, the 2 5-meter bracket rounds. Round 4, we spot short, 1 5 left, and command, 2 rounds, add 2 5, over. Round 5, we spot over, 1 5 left. Round 6, we spot over, line, and command, 1 round, drop 2 5, over. Round 7, we spot short, line. The total deviation is 2 5 left, for an average of 6 mils. Using an OT factor of 2, this computes to a right 10 correction. We considered the overs and shorts equidistant from the target, therefore, and add 10 from last round fired. We would accept and add 20. Our command, delay, right 10, add 10, over. 3 commands, 3 points. After the first 3 rounds were fired, the machine gun continued to fire. And the target was not destroyed. The center of the burst was on target, so we commanded, repeat, over. 1 command, 1 point. The second group of 3 rounds left the bunker in shambles, so we command, end of mission, bunker destroyed, over. If you ended the mission and reported comparable results, we'll go along with you. 1 point here. And how did you score? To have missed more than 1 transmission is not good, and we would recommend a retake. If you missed only 1, or better still, none, make a sketch of this certificate, if you like. Use your name and rank and today's date. You know, we just haven't figured out a way to be on hand to pass these things out to deserving soldiers. Press the proceed to continue. know something? Conducting a destruction mission is great sport.
You have just completed a tech lesson. Please rewind your film cartridge and audio cassette.
Well, there you go. That's destruction in regards to artillery. Something I didn't know until I heard the tape. That's a profession that requires a lot of math, a lot of coolness under pressure. Just imagine all that going on when your guys are dying and they need you to computate all that stuff and silence that enemy. That's very, very phenomenal that they're able to do such things. They must have a lot of practice, a lot of mental dexterity and things like that. It's also good to look over the fence as far as, you know, if you've got a specialty MOS in the Army or whatnot. It's good to see what the other guys are doing, you know. Get some appreciation. I certainly learned a lot while that was going on. I was going through some more tapes, trying to find a tape that might be interesting to more folks than maybe just the artillery crowd. It's a very select group, but I think I found a couple that'll be very interesting. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't play the tapes that are way in super focused subjects. Maybe I should try to get some of the tapes that might be a little more relevant to more soldiers rather than fewer soldiers. I found a couple tapes on the construction of a fighting position. There's actually two I found. I don't know how many in the series, but I think I'm going to play those. A lot of it has to do with battery power, also giving myself enough time to sleep because I got work tonight, things like that. So I'll definitely get this one posted, and depending on, looks like my battery's kind of low. I still got to rig a better setup than what I got here. Well, we'll see what happens. But either or, you're probably listening to me say this years from now. Once these are posted up on YouTube, they're probably there forever. But at any rate, now you have more of a perspective on what artillery has to deal with. At least back in the late 70s. They probably got a bunch of computers to do all that stuff now, but there you go. So I'm just rewinding that tape. That was a long one. Anyway, kudos and respect to people who have to deal with that sort of stuff. It's way beyond my capacity at this point, but just like a lot of skills, practice makes perfect. I imagine after a while I could get to have a feel for that, especially if I was in a position where I had any choice. So then also I want to say, remember there was a visual section to these training tapes, and I don't have that, and I have no way to get a hold of that to my knowledge, so you have to use your imagination. It's a little bit better than nothing at all, and it is good for historical purposes. And oh, it looks like the tape rewound, so I'm going to end this, and I'll move on to the next one. If I have enough battery left, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, you stay safe, and try not to make too many enemies, okay? It's hard, but try not to make too many. Okay.